Hello everyone, in this video let's discuss about John Donne's poem The Ecstasy. John Donne was born in the year 1572 and as we know he is a preeminent metaphysical poet of 16th century. In his work he employs conceits and extended metaphors. During the time of Restoration period, his works went out of fashion and it remained so for several centuries. Even till 1919, his works remained unannounced. Great writers like T.S. Eliot and William Butler Yeats, they discovered the different and the peculiar fusion of intellectual contemporaries. Though John Donne's love poetry was written nearly 400 years ago, yet one reason for its appeal is that it speaks to us as directly and urgently as if we over here represent confidence. This poem Ecstasy is a philosophy of love because John Donne expresses his unique and unconventional ideas about love. He says that pure love or spiritual love or a real love can only exist with the bonds of soul which is established by the mind. According to John Donne, he says true love can only exist when both bodies and souls are united. John Donne also criticizes Plato and Christian divines because Plato's teaching excludes the body and emphasizes only the soul. Donne believes that the fusion of body and soul strengthens spiritual love. Donne then compares body to planets and souls to angels so that body and souls are inseparable and so they are independent. According to the medieval period is in between 1100 and 1500 AD. So in that period, mystical conception of ecstasy means a trance-like state in which the soul leaves the body, the soul comes out from the body and holds communion with the divine. So it is believed that the soul is supreme. So even in Christianity also, taking communion denotes the state of mystic religious communion with God. So we come across using this mythological understanding, Donne uses the religious and philosophical term to denote his theory of love. Let's now see the poem. Where like a pillow on a bed, a pregnant bank swelled up to rest. The violet's recycling head, sat we two, one another's best. Our hands were firmly cemented with a fast balm, which thence did spring. Our eye beams twisted and did tread, our eyes upon one double string. So to intergraft our hands as it was all the means to make us one. And pictures in our eyes to get was all a propagation. So here in this stanza, the poet speaks to his beloved. He says, we two are lovers. We think that each one of us are the best person in the world. We sat on the riverbank which was raised high like a pillow to enable the recycling heads of violet flowers to rest on it. And then the poet says, our hands were firmly grasped and then a strong perfume is produced. And when our eyes met each other, it reflects the image of each other. So this reflection in our eyes, it appears as if our eyes were strung together on a double thread. Holding our hands brings us close to each other. Our eyes reflects each other's image, and this was the only fusion of our love. Next stanza. As twixt two equal armies fate, suspense uncertain victory. Our souls, which to advance their state were gone out, hung twixt her and me. So here in this stanza he says, just as when two are equal, when two people are equal, it is very much powerful than our enemies, so that we can fight each other while fate holds the victory in a state of balance. Even if our state is not in a balanced state, even when our future is uncertain, even then we'll be holding together. Next stanza. And whilst our souls negotiate there, we like sepulchre statues lay. All day the same our postures were, and we said nothing all the day. Here the poet says, we too will communicate every time, even when we are quiet, even when we are motionless like statues, even when we are built over the monument of our dead, our souls will always communicate. Next stanza. If any, so by love refined, that he soul's language understood, and by good love were grown all mind, within convenient distance stood. He, though he knew not which soul spake, because both meant, both spake the same, might thence a new concoction take, and part far purer than he came. Here the poet says, even if there is any stranger who's next to us, motionless, who's next to us like a statue, even that statue person will understand our soul. Even that statue person is capable of understanding the language of our souls because his soul is also purified. Our soul is also a purified mind which have forgotten the existence of the body and enlightens and sharpens the faculties of his mind. Then the poet says, this kind of soul might have undergone a fresh process of purification and it is refined than before. Next stanza. This ecstasy doth unperplex, we said, and tell us what we love. We see by this it was not sex, we see we saw not what did move. But as all several souls contain mixture of things they know not what, love these mixed souls doth mix again, and makes both one, each this and that. Here in these stanza, the poet says, our souls have reached a state of ecstasy. Ecstasy means a feeling or a state of great happiness. So our souls have reached a state of ecstasy which reveals to us what we did not know earlier. Then he says, we both realized that our love was not at all a sex experience. And for the first time, we both discovered that love really is not a matter of the soul or not a matter of the body. Souls are made of various elements of which we have no knowledge. He says it is love which brings together two souls and makes them one, though in reality the two have separate existence. Next stanza. A single violet transplant, the strength, the color, and the size, all which before was poor and scant, redoubles still and multiplies, when love with one another so interinanimates two souls, that abler soul which thence doth flow, defects of loneliness controls. In this stanza, the poet says, when a violet plant is transplanted, which means removing from one place and replanting in a better soil, it shows a marked improvement in its color, size, and strength. That is when it is transplanted. And every transplantation, as we know, it almost doubles itself and also grows more rapidly. In a similar manner, when love brings two souls together, it imparts to them a great zeal and life. It makes the love stronger, it supplements the deficiencies of the lesser soul, and love also removes the feeling of loneliness felt by a single soul. Next stanza. We then, who are this new soul, know of what we are composed and made. For the atomies of which we grow are souls whom no change can invade. Here the poet says, as a result of the union of two souls, a new soul comes into being, this new soul knows of what elements the two souls are composed. And this condition makes us to realize the subsistence of which we are made. Next stanza. But oh, alas, so long, so far, our bodies why do we forbear? They are ours, though they are not we. We are the intelligences, they the spheres. Here the poet says, alas, we have so far and so long ignored our bodies. The bodies are us, but we are distant from our bodies. We are souls. We are of spiritual subsistence. Our souls are like heavenly planets, where our bodies are the spheres, and through that we move and we live our life. Next stanza. We owe them thanks because they thus did as to us at first convoy. Yielded their senses force to us, nor are draws to us but allay. So in this stanza, the poet thanks his bodies because his bodies has brought them together in the first instance, and he thanks their bodies which has surrendered their sense in order to enable their love to be spiritual. And he says, our bodies are not impure matter, but they are like an alloy. An alloy means an alloy, when it is mixed with gold, it makes the substance tougher and brighter. Here he compares his body with an alloy. He says, their body is so helpful and so that they carry a holy love together. Next stanza. On man heaven's influence works not so, but that it first imprints the air. So soul into the soul may flow, though it too body first repair. Here he says, the influence of the heavenly bodies on man comes like an air, and it comes through air. So when a soul wishes to love another soul, it can contact it through the medium of the body, and hence the union of souls may need the contact of the bodies, and that is the first step of this kind of holy love. Next stanza. As our blood labors to beget spirits as like souls as it can, because such fingers need to knit that subtle knot which makes us man. Here the poet says, just like the blood is an important constituent to build our bodies. So in the same way, a spiritual love also produces a kind of ecstasy that binds the two souls together. And this subtle knot of love may not be fully understood by anyone, but it can be understood by the both of us. Next stanza. So must pure lovers' souls descend the affections and the faculties which sense may reach and apprehend, else a great prison lies. So just like the blood, in the same way, the lover's soul also produces elements like the sense and the bodily faculties, and that helps them to express their love. Next stanza. To our bodies turn we then, that so weak men on love revealed may look. Love's mysterious in souls to grow, but yet the body is his book. Here the poet says that one must turn to their body so that weak men may have a test of high love. Love can be experienced only through the medium of body, and that is why body is important, just as the soul is important for the matter of love. Next stanza. And if some lover such as we have heard this dialogue of one, let him still mark us, he shall see. Small change when where are two bodies gone. Now the author ends like this. He says, if there's some lover who could hear us what we have conversated, who has heard our dialogues, then he will carefully look at us and observe that our bodies, when it goes back to our body, there won't be any change, because we will not revert to physical self again. We will always remain as a holy one, because we are not connected to our bodies, but we are connected to our soul. Our love gets connected to our soul. So by saying this, the poet ends his poem. So in this poem, we can understand the criticisms of the conventional idea of love, which supports the separation of the bodies. The poet also makes an appeal to his reader, saying that every reader must nourish their soul through their bodies, and they have to reach towards the point of extreme joy or ecstasy. Hope this video helped you. See you in the next. Until then, take care.